They had just boarded the cable car when they encountered a fatal malfunction. The cable car didn't continue moving forward, but instead began to slowly move backward. At first, everyone thought it was just a common mechanical issue and didn't panic too much. However, the cable car operator's behavior seemed unusual at this point, and his eyes were bloodshot, as if he were someone on the brink of collapse from days of sleeplessness. As the cable car started to retreat faster, the cabin began to shake violently. Even though his colleagues were urgently calling him over the intercom, Lucas didn't respond at all, as if he had completely detached from reality. Because the cable car had no seatbelts, this resulted in serious casualties in the accident. But this was only the beginning of a nationwide disaster. Soon, medical rescue teams arrived at the scene to assist. After Erin attended to all the injured, she was called aside by a police officer. The police initially suspected that the operator's abnormal state was due to drug abuse, but Erin immediately saw that Lucas's condition was not like substance addiction at all, but rather seemed like the result of complete mental breakdown. Sure enough, in the next moment, Lucas suddenly seemed to fall into a hallucination, staring down at his hands and muttering strange things under his breath. Erin immediately began to examine him, and she found that Lucas's eyes were severely bloodshot. His expression was extremely agitated. This symptom seemed more like the exhaustion from several days without rest. However, the police were convinced that Lucas had used illegal substances and decided to take him back to the station for questioning. Unexpectedly, during the journey, Lucas's emotions grew even more out of control, and the police car was forced to make an emergency stop. In the chaos, Lucas seized the opportunity to dash into a nearby forest. Meanwhile, Sweden's largest pharmaceutical company was hosting a grand celebration party. They had just signed a multi-billion-euro deal with the Ministry of Health. Matty from the pharmaceutical department found Daisy with a serious expression. He directly stated that the company's drugs had serious risks. The company had scheduled a major mechanical safety inspection last month, but because the drug trials had just entered the fourth phase, he had unilaterally decided to delay the inspection. Now, critical production equipment had exposed a fatal flaw. At that moment, senior officials from the health department had gathered at the site. Daisy realized the sensitivity of the situation and immediately interrupted Matty's report. However, the situation had already begun to show signs of something wrong. A woman was running wildly on a treadmill until she was thrown off completely, but she explained that she was unusually hyperactive and had just wanted to use extreme exercise to tire herself out completely. Health Minister Chris noticed the news on the TV as cases of insomnia in the city surged and the number of hospital appointments skyrocketed. But he didn't realize that none of this was a coincidence. A true catastrophe had quietly begun to unfold.